Our card shop just had one of its best days since we opened. On Black Friday, Cards HQ did almost $300,000 in sales in our retail store and on our website. And that sales number doesn't even include all of the sales that we did in our live streams and breaking on Whatnot and Fanatics Live that day. So what happened? What led to such a successful day? Well, I've got a secret for you that can help anyone's card business, and I'll tell you about it next. The Geoff Wilson Show is brought to you by Arena Club, the official home of slab packs. Now available every day, slab packs offer an exciting way to collect graded cards with confidence. Plus, every pack comes with an instant offer to buy your slab. Don't miss out. Explore the latest slab packs and more by downloading the Arena Club app. Just search Arena Club in your app store and use promo code SCI20 for 20% off your first purchase. Black Friday was everything we hoped for this year at Cards HQ. It was 2.5 times the sales volume that we did on Black Friday last year. We were extremely excited about the results, and our approach to Black Friday this year was a lot different, and that led to those different results. This Black Friday, we had people camping overnight. We literally had people sleeping out in front of the store overnight before we opened our doors. And then by the time we got ready to open up our doors at 9 a.m., we had a few hundred people in line waiting to come inside Cards HQ. We had tremendous sales all day long. We were unbelievably happy with the results. And the results were way better than last year. So what was different? What was the secret? I'm going to tell you two related things that I feel are very important to really think about for any type of card business that you might be doing, whether you got a card shop or whether you're just selling casually on the side, whether you're occasionally setting up at a card show as a dealer, or if you're just trying to get an Instagram established and just, start to put a few things on Instagram for the first time to do some buy and sell and trade deals. Wherever it may be, I think these two things are something you need to think about that can help you develop out your business over time. And here they are. Cards are an entertainment experience, and people buy from people and brands that they like. This year on Black Friday, we leaned in to both of those truths. Last year, we didn't, and that led to a lot of the sales difference. Cards are an entertainment experience, and people buy from people and brands they like. So let's break that down. Let's talk about Black Friday this year at Cards HQ. So first of all, from a retail perspective, we wanted to lean into the entertainment experience. And we did that by putting a promotion out that the first 10 people to walk into Cards HQ when we opened up our doors at 9 a.m. on Black Friday would each get a $100 Cards HQ gift card for free. And the first 100 people that were in line to come into Cards HQ when we opened up our doors on that Friday would get a gift bag with about a $50 value inside the gift bag of free boxes, packs, and supplies. So we put a pretty big offer out there. And I'll be honest with you, when the team first came to me with the idea of doing that, I added it up in my head and I said, man, we're going to spend like $6,000. That's, $5, $10, $100 gift cards and $150 gift bags. That's $6,000. Now, granted, our cost on that's a little lower, but still, we're going to put several $1,000s into just giveaways on Black Friday. And I'm like, are we going to make that back? Is that too aggressive? Is that too much? Well, I'm glad I listened to my team because my way of thinking is not always right. Listening to your team and listening to people who are sometimes smarter than you is often a good way to go. And my team challenged me and my team said, no, last year we did not turn Black Friday into an event. This year we want to turn it into an event. Cards are an entertainment experience. We want it to feel like an event. And by doing that and by publicizing that, it got us off to a really hot start. We had the campers overnight. We had the hundreds of people in line when we opened up the door. We kept our sales on Black Friday very simple this year. We decided to make it a very simple promotion, not get complicated with the promotion. Last year, there were a whole bunch of different boxes we were doing discounts on. It was kind of a more complicated promotion, different amounts of money off different boxes. This year, we said, let's keep the promotion simple, because we want to keep the message on the excitement of the day and the free giveaways and the doorbusters. And we don't want to overly complicate the promotion. We want to just keep it simple. So what we did was we did 10% off all sports card boxes and supplies, and we did 5% off all singles and 5% off everything TCG. So all TCG boxes and supplies were 5% off. That may not sound like a lot, 5 and 10%, but keep in mind that at Cards HQ, we price everything at market value. We price everything at recent comps. When we put a card out in our showcase, we sticker it for whatever it most recently sold at, whatever we believe the market value of that card to be. So giving any percentage off cards or sealed products takes that item below market value. So, some card shops are able to more aggressively discount because their cards are standardly priced above market value. They're not pricing their cards in their boxes at current comps. They're pricing their cards in their boxes 10 or 20% above current comps, and then they can discount more heavily, because their prices are higher to begin with. So because we don't price that way, our ability to discount is limited. So 5 and 10% is actually meaningful. It's a meaningful discount because that's bumping things below market value. But it's also a very simple promotion for us to be able to do and execute. So simple promotion, but an event. Giveaways, make this thing exciting, give people a reason to get lined up for it. Then this year, I think we did a really good job of promoting and marketing it, of building excitement about it. People buy from people and brands they like, and they like being part of a experience. And so we used all of our available channels, from social media to email to SMS, to get people excited. YouTube, we wanted to try to get people excited about everything we were doing on Black Friday. And we were successful at making an event out of it. One thing that I've learned since we've opened up Cards HQ is that the experience is big. Events are big for us. We do 2 trade nights a month. One TCG dedicated trade night, one sports dedicated trade night. Those are big deals for us in the store. Not only do we see our sales those days go up significantly because we have so many people in the store participating in trade nights, but additionally, it has this wonderful halo effect where it causes people to just enjoy the store and enjoy what Cards HQ is. And it's one of those things. If you come to trade nights here often, you start to really appreciate Cards HQ as a brand. So the brand starts to mean something to you, and people like to buy from brands they like. They want to support what they like. So if we give people a free experience, a reason to come into the store and to experience something they love with no obligation to buy or attach, just give them the space, give them the tables, let them trade with other people and market that well. So a lot of people come to it and it really turns into an event. That does wonders for our store. We do TCG tournaments 5 nights a week. We're doing tournaments of, different TCG games in our store. That gets people into the store. That gets people a reason to like the brand, appreciate the brand, experience the community, be part of an entertainment experience, because cards are, once again, an entertainment experience. It's why when we built Cards HQ, we put our breaker cabanas on the side of the show floor open to the retail show floor so that people, when they're in here, they can see breaks going on. And if a breaker hits a big card and screams out loud, that echoes through the store, and you'll see the shoppers in the store walk over to see what's going on in the breaker cabana and what that person just screamed about. They want to see the card. That creates an experience. We also have our area for people to open up packs, our breaker arena, we call it. And if people are over there and they hit something big, you'll hear them scream. And you'll see a crowd of shoppers walk over in their direction because everybody wants to see what they just pulled. It creates an experience. Cards are an entertainment experience, and people love to buy from people and brands they like. And I think by leaning into those things this year more heavily, certainly much more heavily than we did last year, it led to a great Black Friday, and it's led to a great year of sales for us overall. Now, I want to talk about how this can be applied to different aspects of business and how this can be applied to your business, because I know not everybody listening, in fact, most people listening don't have a card shop, right? But I think that there's elements to this that can be applied to anything you're doing with sports cards, whether it's content creation or being a dealer or, just doing a little cards as a little side hustle on the side, right? And there's also, by the way, many ways to put your own spin on this. You don't have to copy what we're doing at Cards HQ or Sports Card Investor in order to be successful. There's plenty of ways to lean into these concepts to make them successful in your own right. If you think about cards as an entertainment experience, how do you put your own spin on making your customers, people who you are interacting with, feel like they're getting entertainment value through their interactions with you? And knowing that people buy from people and brands that they like, which, by the way, is a truth in all kinds of business. This is not a sports card thing. People buy from people and brands they like. That is true in every industry, in every form of, sales, right? So how do you get people to like you more and to like your brand? Well, there's a bunch of different ways to do that. You can put your own spin on it, right? Bring your own personality to the table, but I'll give you suggestions for how you can put your own spin on that here as we go. I want to talk about breaking for a second, because breaking is perhaps the purest example of what I am trying to tell you today, right? Success at breaking is all about the entertainment value and the connection people feel to the breakers on camera. There is no greater example in all of sports cards that proves what I am saying, that cards are an entertainment experience and people buy from people and brands that they like. There's no greater, truer example of that statement than breaking. Because breaking, it is all there on display. And if you go look at the most successful breakers across this entire sports card hobby, and thankfully Cards HQ is one of them, but there's plenty of examples of other breakers that have built tremendous following and are doing tens of millions of dollars a year in sales. And I guarantee they have nailed the entertainment experience, and their breakers are likable to their customers. Now, that doesn't mean that you like them, and that doesn't mean that you buy into their form of entertainment. There's one very controversial one that we can talk about: backyard breaks. Very, very controversial breaker, right? A lot of people hate them. But you know what? There's a very, very passionate fan base who loves them and who loves the way they entertain. The way backyard breaks entertains, it ain't for me. I don't love the shirtless antics, the frat boy attitude that they often have on their channels. But you know what? A lot of people do. A lot of people really enjoy the entertainment they bring. And whether you love them or hate them, you cannot deny that they are bringing entertainment. It may not be your type of entertainment, but they are bringing entertainment. They are not boring. And while you may not like them, there are a lot of people who do. And those people want to buy from people and brands that they like. And that's why, even through controversy, Backyard Breaks continues to be one of the top breakers, very, very popular, and a big brand in our space, because there are a segment of hobbyists who love them. And it's not just true for backyard breaks. It's true for all of the top breakers in the space, whether you're looking at We The Hobby or Filth Bomb or Leighton, or there's so many. Blaze has they got their own form of entertainment and people. And again, it's not really for me how they go about doing things. That's not my style, and that's not the style that we have built here at Cards HQ. We've taken a lot different approach than like how Blaze approaches things on their streams. But hey, Blaze is entertaining. And people like to buy from people and brands that they like, and there are people that like them. Now, we've gone about it a little bit of a different way, right? We've built our breaking business in much more of a family-friendly way with personalities who we think are relatable, who we think that people are happy to watch, that are always, G or PG, but are still interesting and fun. And honestly, like our theme is we want people who people enjoy hanging out with. And I'll give you an example, right? You guys may know Haley from Slab Mania. She's a content creator. I saw her creating Instagram content a couple of years ago, and I liked her. Right off the bat, I was like, ooh, she's a little different than everybody I've seen out there. She's a little unique. I mean, first of all, she's a female, so obviously that helps you stand out a little bit in the sports card world because it's a male-dominated world. But she was a female who wasn't trying to show off her body and sexualize herself. She was a true, genuine fan of cards and sports. And you could tell she was into the hobby. She loved cards. She had a passion for sports. And she really enjoyed creating content. And she created fun, kitschy content. Her content was well produced, fun to watch. Maybe you know what I'm talking about. Maybe you don't. Maybe you've never seen her on Instagram. But the point was, I looked at her and I said, oh, she's somebody who people are going to like. She's likable. She's got a likable factor to her, but in a family-friendly way. And I liked that. She had a uniqueness, a likability, and she was family-friendly. And I'm like, that's a combo I want. I want Haley part of the Cards HQ team. And we hired her. Been over a year now. She joined our team and she was doing social media content for us. She started doing some breaking for us. Now she's full-time breaking for us, and she's one of our best breakers that we have. Whenever Haley goes on our Cards HQ Breaks channel on Whatnot, we get great viewership. We get great sales. People enjoy watching her. People like her. They like hanging out with her. And that's the thing. She's got this likability. People want to buy from people they like. Remember when I said that? People like to buy from people and brands they like. Breakers are that. And people want to be entertained. And breakers are that as well. And there's many different forms of that. I mentioned some of the different forms of that earlier. People don't get why Joe Hollywood is such a big deal on Whatnot. People criticize Joe Hollywood because sometimes stuff that he sells on his streams go for this crazy huge markup. By the way, sometimes when I go live on Whatnot and do these big events, sometimes stuff that I sell on streams goes for a really high markup. It goes for a lot more than maybe it's worth. People are willing to pay it because cards are an entertainment experience and they are being entertained. And that's what it comes down to, right? People buy from people and brands they like, and they see cards as an entertainment experience, and you got to lean into that. You've got to lean into that, not just with breaking, but with all forms of doing content creation and dealing within the card world. Let's talk about content creation, actually, because going back to it being an entertainment experience and people buying from, people and brands that they like. So obviously, I have Sports Card Investor. And I will tell you, when we opened up Cards HQ, we went from zero to $1 million a month in sales right off the bat with not $1 being spent on paid advertising. Our customer acquisition cost was zero. We opened up our doors, and from the day we opened up our doors, we were busy, we had big sales volume, and we were cash flow positive from the day we opened up our doors. And it has never stopped. It has only gotten busier. Why? Because content is so powerful. Having an audience, being able to showcase what you're doing is so powerful. It enables you to eliminate or significantly reduce your marketing and advertising costs. And not only do you save money on marketing and advertising, but you're marketing and advertising in a much more effective way than money could ever buy, because people are entertained by your content. Cards are an entertainment experience, and people end up enjoying you through your content. People buy from people and brands they like. And if they enjoy your content, then they're going to want to support what you're doing. And by the way, this is nothing unique to Sports Card Investor or Cards HQ. Card Collector 2 has built a huge following, and he does an excellent job of promoting his store. He's had to expand his store. He just recently renovated his store. He could probably, afford to do a store that is 3 or 4 or 5 times bigger than his current store, because he's got such a good following that his people would support him doing that. And this comes in all flavors. It doesn't just have to be how I do things or how Card Collector 2 does things. Rob Veras, the owner of Burbank Sports Cards out in LA, he's one of the veterans of the industry. He's had Burbank Sports Cards for decades, and Burbank has always been one of the best, if not the best, card shops in the entire world. You might say that Rob built that position without having to do content, because he built that position over the course of many decades. Before social media was a thing, before YouTube was a thing, Rob built this reputation of Burbank being this, premier national shop. But during the pandemic, Rob made the decision to really start leaning into content. And Rob, he kicks butt on social media, right? And it's a totally different style. He goes online every morning and does a social media post from his card shop, from the aisles of his card shop or outside the front door of his card shop. And he waxes poetic about, the industry and his store and how Burbank is enhancing the collector experience and doing all these amazing things to build the community, and how great his customers are, and how, amazing it is having this type of community. He waxes poetic. That's his style. It's very successful. People like Rob, they like Burbank. They want to buy from people and brands that they like. Rob is giving them entertainment in a different type of form, giving them takes on the industry, thoughts about owning a card shop, thoughts about the future of the industry constantly. Different type of entertainment, but entertainment. And people appreciate him, and they like him, and they like his brand, and they like what he's trying to do. And it's not just Rob. Joe Davis got baseball cards. He's become a lot more content friendly and focused over the last few years. I've loved seeing that. Joe has figured out ways to, do interesting things with content on his social. And now he's got his Cartoon Cards website and his Cartoon Cards magazine. And it's fun seeing what Joe does as well. And he's really become content savvy. And his company got baseball cards. His store has become much more content savvy over the last few years. And it's been cool seeing him understand and appreciate the value of building some audience and building some content following. It really, really helps. You see guys like Roth Cards doing big deals at shows. Roth Cards, by the way, he doesn't have a store. So what I'm telling you, this is not just a card shop thing. This is every dealer, every person who wants to do cards as a side hustle, there is benefit in building audience. Roth Cards doesn't have a store, but you see his content on social and on YouTube. He's built up a huge following, just going to card shows, setting up as a dealer, and now he's built this reputation of being the buyer and the seller of really high-end modern cards, particularly football. If it's the top 1 of 1 from Prism, for this year, chances are that's moving through Ross Card's hands, and he lets you know about it in all of his content. And guess what? It's helped him build up an incredible business. When you go to card shows now, you see cameras on a lot of dealer tables. You see those little, Osmo cameras clipped to the side of dealer tables, and those things didn't exist. A few years ago, you would go to a card show and not see dealers trying to set up their own cameras and do their own content. Now you see a lot of it. You actually see more of it in TCG than sports cards. Sports card dealers, you guys could learn a few things from the TCG dealers who are doing that, because they're smart. They're savvy about it. They are trying to build audience. They're trying to build likability. They're trying to entertain. Because by clipping a camera to the side of your dealer booth and cutting up some social reels and posting them to social, showing deals you're doing or cool interactions that you're having with customers, those dealers who are doing that, they understand that cards are an entertainment experience, and they understand that people buy from people and brands that they like. I want to talk about e-commerce for just a second, because actually e-commerce website. We talked about e-commerce in the sense of live selling and breaking, but what about selling on a website? What about selling on eBay? What about selling on cardshq.com? This is a frontier where I think there's actually a lot of room to innovate around what I'm saying. How do you make shopping on your eBay store an entertainment experience, and how do you build in likability? How do you make people like your brands or you as a person through selling on an eBay store or selling on a traditional website like cardshq.com? I think that's the next frontier. That's the next frontier for us. We got to figure that out. And if you got an eBay store, you got to figure that out as well. People are not really doing that today. When you go on eBay and you buy something on eBay, it kind of feels like whatever dealer's page you're on, they're all kind of look the same. People put minimal effort into their descriptions. They don't really attempt to build any personality into any of it. I think there's a missed opportunity there. It's harder to do because obviously eBay very much limits you. Like you can't, you don't have control to, do a bunch of stuff. But I think you could find ways to inject some personality and inject some entertainment into your product listings, even within the confines of what eBay requires. I think there's ways to do it. I think there's probably some innovative, creative people in this space that can figure that out. Maybe there's some dealers on eBay that already have, that I just haven't seen. Maybe there's some folks that are doing creative things with their product listings that are gaining more attention and following than normal because of, some interesting stuff they've done. If you know of any, shout them out in the comments. Would love to check them out. But that's the next frontier. For us here at Cards HQ, that's the next frontier, right? Like our website right now, if you go to cardshq.com, it's effective. It's a nicely designed e-commerce store, but it's just an e-commerce store. And there's not a lot of personality in our website besides for just our brand colors and look. There's not much of an entertainment factor on our website at all. It's kind of like every other e-commerce website, just with a nice product selection and good prices and a nice design. But there's not entertaining. And there's not necessarily anything about our website that's going to cause you to fall in love with our brands. I mean, our prices are good. The website works well. It looks nice. But there's nothing that's going to really make you passionate to come back to our website like time and time again. Like you want to get the website address tattooed on your arm. Like there's nothing about our website right now that's doing that level of fandom. But how do we do that? I want to do that. And we're actually right now trying to hire for a website manager position. I've got big plans for our website. I think there's ways to actually bring a lot of video to our website and actually use our video production capabilities here at Sports Card Investor to really do a thorough job of highlighting products and breaking down products and talking about products and building that into our website. So as you're navigating our website, it's more than just standard product listings. It's an interactive experience where you can actually learn, you can actually be educated, and you can be entertained, and you can understand what's in different products and maybe even see a pack rip of a product to get a sense of what's inside of it or whatever that looks like. But I think there's ways to bring a lot more of an entertainment factor to our website and get people to love our website more. And I would challenge you, if you're doing any type of transactions on eBay or any type of online medium, how do you do that? How do you make it more of an entertainment experience, and how do you get people to love you and love your brand? Because once again, I firmly believe cards are an entertainment experience, and people buy from people and brands they like. And if you can figure out how to bring those two concepts into your sphere of the card world, I think you're going to do really well for yourself. All right, guys, that's all I got for you today. What did you think of the episode? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget, these full-length episodes of The Geoff Wilson Show are available here on The Geoff Wilson Show YouTube channel. They're also on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts. So make sure to subscribe everywhere. Appreciate you guys watching. See you with the next one. Take care.